What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my Draftkings MMA picks for UFC Fight Island 8, Neil Magny versus Michael Chiesa. And you're really looking forward to this card. It's going to be on a Wednesday. It's going to be very, very early. Make sure you guys wake up early. Make sure you guys check your lineups. Make sure all the fighters are still fighting. I remember last week on Saturday we had a fight pull out the day of the fights, which sucked for me. Imavov and Haas got canceled on the day of the fights. And I had to personally go through and change like 95 to 100% of my lineups pretty much because I had a ton of the Haas Imavov fight and I wasn't home to do it. So I had to do it by hand. It took me a decent amount, was able to get it done. So yeah, pretty decent in the tournaments, made some slight profit there. But where I really did well was in the single entries. I got third place in that lineup. I had Max Holloway scored 209 points, which is crazy. A lot of people were talking about fading Max Holloway because of the point system. Max Holloway ended up being, lower owned than he should have been. And I did stack it with Calvin Kattar. At Carlos Condit, Soriano had scored 123. Jocelyn Edwards, and then Austin Lingo. That was my single. And then for my cash lineup, I had the same thing, but instead of Carlos Condit, I had Ponzinibbio in cash, but still was able to cash there. And yeah, it was a pretty good week overall. Can't complain. But looking forward to this week, and yeah, the only thing that's bad about it is waking up early. So wake up early, make sure you check your lineups. I have a feeling that, hopefully no fights pull out, but we really don't know because it's been happening a lot as of late. So before we get started, as always, if you can leave a like, subscribe if you have not yet, would appreciate that a bunch. And with that said, we're going to get into the video here. Just want to touch on the new DraftKings scoring just slightly here, kind of remind you guys that, yeah, there has been some changes. And I think people are looking into it a little bit too much. Like people were talking about fading Max Holloway last week. I don't think there's, a crazy change, but there is some stuff that needs to be noted for sure. So I guess some of the new things are they did take away the advances, which was 3 points each, but they did add the control time, which is 0.03 points per second, which that's going to help a lot of the fighters on here, and we'll talk about it. They did add the first round win bonus, the quick win, which is in the first minute of the first round. That's 25 points. And instead of 0.5 for significant strikes, it is now going to be 0.4 for significant strikes. The strikes being 0.2 and the significant strikes being 0.2 added up equals 0.4. So just wanted to touch on that real quick. But getting into the fight doesn't go to decision lines, and I have a feeling we're going to see a decent amount of finishes. We saw a decent amount on Saturday. And the Villanueva Morea, I like this fight a lot. Minus 325. Fight doesn't go to decision. I have a hard time seeing this going to the scorecards. Vincent Morea has never, ever seen the scorecards. He has been finished in all three of his losses, and he has won all of his wins as well. 89% by submission and 11% by knockout. So Morea's never seen the scorecards in 13 fights. As for Ike Villanueva, he's been finished in 10 out of 11 losses, and he does have an 81% finish rate, all 81% coming by knockout. So it's safe to say I think this fight's going to finish, and there's two really likely outcomes. I mean, it's either going to be a Villanueva knockout or a Vincent Morea submission. I mean, I don't see any other option here. Villanueva has been submitted 5 times, and we know that Vincent Morea is one of the chiniest fighters I've ever seen. So I definitely want both sides of this fight, especially it being 8,200 to 8,000. I really see it I really see this fight not finishing, being really hard. I feel like it's going to end inside the distance, and I feel like it's going to score well also. Going down, Sumadarji versus Zaruk Adeshev. Yeah, I like Sumadarji quite a bit, although he is expensive, but for a really good reason. He's like minus, 500 on the money line there. And, I think he's going to win. I think he has like a 7-inch reach advantage, which is going to pay dividends here. And this is a kind of fight that he wants. He does struggle against those wrestler grapplers. He has been submitted in all 4 of his losses, although he has been improving that aspect of his game. But Adeshev's going to give him the fight he wants, and it's going to be standing more than likely the whole time. And at that point, you got to favor Sumadarji. Do you favor him like minus 500? I don't know. I don't think Adeshev's that bad, but I do think Mudarji has a pretty good chance of winning here and a pretty good chance of getting a finish. So more so on the Mudarji side at 9,300. Maybe I'll have a little bit of Zaruk because I don't really think he's bad, but kind of want to see Zaruk on the scales as well because Zaruk looked really out of shape his last fight. Next one, we have Dolce Langabula, Dolce champion versus Marcus Perez, minus 245. Fight doesn't go to decision. Don't necessarily agree with this line. Marcus Perez is somebody that's very, very tough. He's only been knocked out once in his career. That was his very last fight. Maybe some recency bias going on here. I don't know if Marcus Perez, maybe he finds a submission if he's able to get this to the ground, but I think getting this to the ground is going to be easier said than done. I honestly could see this going to decision. But if there was a finish, I guess I lean on the Dolce side a little bit. Dolce is sitting at 8,600. Not a fight I'm in love with, but we do got to take into account that it is minus 245. Fight doesn't go to decision, which is the third most likely to end inside the distance. But yeah, Marcus Perez is a very, very durable guy. Only been finished in 1 fight out of 16 total fights. Dolce has been finished in 2 fights out of 12, 1 by submission, 1 by knockout. The knockout was by Ankalaev, one of the best in the light heavyweight division. This is going to be at, I believe, 185, which is something to note as well. But yeah, I will have some ownership on this fight, but not overly interested in it, honestly, especially on like a 14-fight slate here. Next, we have Tyson Nam versus Matt Schnell. So this is interesting here. I think Schnell's very, very live to win just based off the fact that Tyson Nam throws very low volume. But when Tyson Nam lands, he lands very hard. I think if there's a finish, it's going to come on the Nam side. Schnell is very, very chinny. He's been knocked out 3 times, all 3 in the UFC. And Nam can definitely crack. So I'm more so targeting the Nam side. But I think if you want a winner, I think Schnell can win a decision. I just don't know how much he's going to score. Doesn't go for as many takedowns as he should. He gets in these brawls. Yeah, I think Tyson Nam's going to get it done by knockout, so more on the Tyson Nam side, but I think Schnell's live just due to the fact that he's probably going to throw more. So if he does not get caught, he probably wins a decision, but how much is that score, really? Next, we have Munir Lazzez versus Alves here, and Alves is someone who has I'd say like a couple minutes to win. I've seen fights where he'd slow down in like the first 3 minutes of a fight. And Warlley Alves, he's decent, but I just think that if he does not get that early finish, Lazzez is going to take over. So that's why I'm more on the Lazzez side here. He's 9,000. I like it quite a bit. We'll get into it more in the video, but this is a fight you're going to want to target. If Alves wins, it's going to be early. If Lazzez wins, I feel like he can win in that second, third round, find a finish there. But I kind of see this fight ending inside the distance. It kind of feels like the Hawes fight last week that we didn't get to see Hawes and Imavov. Hawes early, Imavov late, something like that. Kind of the same thing here. So I do want exposure to this side, this fight on both sides here, but mostly leading with Lazzez. All right, getting into the core plays, we just talked about him. Munir Lazzez, 9,000. He was able to go out there and dominate Abdulrazak Al-Hassan in a fight that he was pretty sizable underdog in. He was able to take Al-Hassan's best shots, and Lazzez has an absolute chin. And he has some power as well. Very good striker. They call him the sniper for a reason. He's very accurate, very good. I have seen him taken down on the regional scene quite a bit. I've seen him put in some bad spots, although he was able to fight out of a lot of those bad spots. Some deep submissions as well, which is nice to see, but getting in those bad spots is kind of sketchy here against Warlley Alves, who, if he can get this to the mat, he's definitely capable of getting a finish. But like I said, I think there's like a span or a window of like 3 to maybe 4 or 5 minutes for Warlley Alves to get a finish. If he does not get that finish, I feel like he's going to tire out, and I feel like Lazzez is going to take over and get a finish there. So I think the more talented fighter at this point, I'd probably lean with Lazzez. I think he's the more well-rounded as well, but like I said, Alves is going to be very live in those first couple minutes, which is something you want to target on DraftKings. Next, we have Michael Chiesa, 7,900. Yeah, a lot of people are going to be on Magny. Magny is not a finisher whatsoever. Magny's only finished 37% of his wins, which is the worst on the slate. And believe it or not, it's worse than Roxanne Modafferi. So kind of put that in perspective there. So I think if Magny wins, it's going to be a decision. I don't really think you have to target the main event, honestly. Like if Magny wins, I feel like Chiesa is going to take him down quite a bit. I feel like Chiesa is going to have a lot of top control as well. I feel like if anybody scores well in this fight, it's probably going to be on the Chiesa side. I see Chiesa winning at least the first couple rounds. I guess I'm worried about his gas tank, but since he's moved up a weight class, his gas tank's looked a lot better, and I'm actually really high on Chiesa here, and I feel like he'll come in a little bit under-owned. I feel like a lot of people are going to target at Magny based off the fact that maybe they think he can get a late finish. Maybe they think he can stuff takedowns, but Magny has struggled versus these wrestler grapplers. He hasn't fought one in a while, but he does have a 59% takedown defense in his career, and Chiesa's grappling and takedowns and top control has looked like next level at this weight class. So really high on Chiesa here personally. I feel like Magny's going to be coming from behind in this fight, and I really don't know how much that's going to score with him on his back. And as far as the new scoring system, no, we don't have advances anymore, but I think Chiesa is going to get a lot of top control. I really do. So give me Chiesa here. I even think he has a chance to get a submission as well. We've seen Magny submitted 3 times in his career. All right, next we have Ricky Simón, 9,400. I love the matchup for him. I think that he's going to be able to get takedowns at will. He's a really good wrestler. And Gaetano Perello, the guy he's fighting, he can't stuff a takedown. Very poor ground game. Has nothing for Ricky Simón on the mat. But yeah, Ricky Simón kind of, people call him chinny and stuff. He's only been knocked out 1 time. Kind of a fluke knockout in my opinion by Uriah Faber. But still, Ricky Simón averages a crazy 6.61 takedowns per 50 minutes. And this is just a dream matchup for Simone here. He's going to get a lot of takedowns. He's going to get a lot of top control. He's going to land a lot of strikes. And I wouldn't be surprised if he even submitted Perello. We have seen Perello submitted before. So, yeah, really like Ricky Simone. Perello's never been knocked out, but he has been submitted 3 times. I would not be shocked if Simone got a submission win here. So, yeah, give me Simone. I like it a lot. I think he's one of the safer plays on the slate and has a ton of upside as well. Next, we have more of a tournament play here. Ike Villanueva, 8,200, but I'm going to have a ton of this fight. And I'm more on the Ike Villanueva side here at 8,200. So he's a core play. I'm going to have a lot of exposure to the fight as a whole and a lot of exposure to Ike Villanueva. And basically because Vinicius Moreira is one of the chinniest fighters you'll ever see. But what I will say about Moreira is he's very relentless with his takedowns. He tries to get takedowns. If he doesn't get them, he keeps trying and trying. If he does not get them, if he gets stuffed on like a second or third or fourth try, he gets knocked out. I think there's a really good chance that Ike Villanueva gets a finish here, and I think it's going to be in the first round. I think the very first couple shots that touches the chin of Moreira is probably going down. So I think if there's someone on this card that has a chance for the 60-second 25-point win bonus, I think Ike Villanueva is a pretty good candidate at 8,200. I really do. So yeah, going to be on Ike a lot. But on the flip side, I'll be on Moreira as well. I think they both have paths to victory that are going to score very high. So make sure you target that fight. GPP plays, so more of our tournament plays here. Sumadarji, I mean, I don't mind him in cash as well. I think is a really good play, 9,300. I love the 7-inch reach advantage. This is going to be a fight that is going to favor him. It's going to be a striking fight against someone that has only 5 MMA fights. And yes, Adeshev does have some kickboxing background as well, but I just think Medardi's on a whole other level here. I'm really impressed with the guy. I think he has a lot of upside. Patch up that ground game a little bit, and he has. I think he has a ton of upside, 9,300. I'm all over it. I think he has a decent chance to get a finish as well. Really good finisher. He has an 85% knockout rate, 8% submission rate for a 93% finish rate total. And Zaruk has been knocked out. He got knocked out by Tyson Nam, and Zaruk has been submitted as well. So yeah, really do like Medarji. I'm going to have a ton of them here. Neil Magny, kind of a tournament play for me. I don't know how much I'm going to have. Like I said, not much of a finisher. Worst finish rate on the whole slate. But say he does stuff takedowns, which I kind of find it hard to do. But say he does stuff these takedowns for 5 rounds. Say he does out-volume Chiesa for 5 rounds. You get 5 rounds of volume. I think it's something to note. Maybe he goes out there and gets takedowns himself, which I wouldn't recommend there. But maybe he does. I can see it happening. He does have some takedowns on his record there. So I think Magny's somebody to note. But I do think he's going to gain a lot of ownership. I see a ton of Magny love. Don't necessarily get it myself, but yeah, maybe Magny gets a late finish. Maybe Chiesa does tire out really bad and gas out. But like I said, at this weight class, Chiesa looks a lot better than he has in the past in the later rounds, like in rounds 3. I know this is a 5-round fight, so we're going to have to see. But yeah, I really do like the Chiesa side, but I will have some Magny, but just don't know how much I'm going to have of him yet. Next, we have Francisco Figueiredo, the brother of Davison Figueiredo, 8,500. This fight has a ton of question marks. I was only able to see one Francisco Figueiredo fight. He did not look all that impressive. It was his very last fight. It ended up being a draw somehow. I thought he lost the first round. I thought he lost the second round. He lost a point in the second round as well. And then I thought the third round was really close. They gave him a draw. I don't get it, but he does have a 91% finish rate. So he is dangerous. Obviously, he's not his brother. I'm not impressed with Jerome Rivera. I do lean with Jerome Rivera, but I feel like this fight's going to finish here. So I do want exposure to this fight. It's a really sketchy fight. I wouldn't go like crazy on either side here. I'm kind of splitting my exposure down the middle because, like I said, I'm not impressed with both guys, but I feel like this fight could finish. Next, we have Manon Fiorot. And yeah, I like Fiorot a lot. I think she has a decent chance of getting a finish here. Leonardo is kind of on the chinny side. I've seen her wobbled a bunch. I've seen her dropped a bunch. And Fiorot has a 71% finish rate, all by knockout. And she's just like a way better striker than Leonardo. It's not even close. The only thing I worry about is Leonardo maybe taking down Fiorot and controlling her. But other than that, like I think Fiorot is going to absolutely roll here, 8,900. I like it a lot. On the flip side, Leonardo, how does she win? Maybe finds a submission. She's won half of her fights by submission. So something to think about there at 7,300 for Leonardo. But I'm really on the Fiorot side. I really think she wins this fight. I think she's a lot better than Leonardo. So give me Fiorot at 8,900. Probably low owned as well. I mean, people don't really know much about Fiorot or Leonardo there. Next, we have Tyson Nam, 8,400. So it's going to go one of two ways. Tyson Nam is going to either find the knockout be a really good play, or Tyson Nam's going to lose a decision based off of him not pulling the trigger. And we've seen that a lot in his career. Most of his losses are because he's just, doesn't let his hands go as much as he should. So he does have 2 knockout wins in a row. I feel like if he does win this fight, it's going to be by knockout. I don't see him winning a decision. I don't see him getting a submission. I feel like there's only one path to victory for Tyson Nam, and that is a knockout. I'm sure he knows that. Maybe he's catching on finally because he has been getting a couple knockouts as of late, but he hits really hard. And Schnell is more on the chinny side. Schnell's been knocked out 3 times, like I said. So, I think Schnell's going to come in here and give Tyson Nam the fight he wants. Does he land that knockout shot? I tend to think so, but if not, he's going to lose a decision. So I think Tyson Nam's a very good tournament play. Don't know if I'd go there in cash because he does have kind of a low floor, but I think there's a lot of upside for Tyson Nam. Live dogs, Jerome Rivera talked about it a little bit. Don't know much about either guy. I know a little bit more about Rivera. Not too impressive in his UFC debut against Tyson Nam. He got knocked out. But he has a really good ground game. No knockout wins on Rivera's record. But he does have a ton of submissions. 70% submission rate for a 70% finish rate overall. No knockouts. And I think he's fine here. I'm not all that impressed with Francisco Figueiredo, the brother of Davison. He's not like his brother whatsoever. I think people are going to give Figueiredo a lot of ownership for that reason. But man, I think Jerome Rivera is very, very live here. I don't know how he wins. Maybe by decision, maybe by submission. He does have a really good ground game. But I do know I want a little bit of this fight. Vinicius Moreira, 8,000. Don't like the guy, but he has a clear path to victory. Get this fight to the mat. If this fight touches the mat once and it's early, he's going to get the submission. Ike Villanueva has been submitted 5 times, kind of a fish out of water on the mat. And Moreira actually is really good on the mat. It just needs to get it there. If not, he's going to get knocked out. But like I said, if he does get it there, he's going to get the submission. So you do want to target that fight. Target both sides. My lean is Villanueva, but I will have some Vinicius Moreira for sure. Matt Schnell, 7,800. If he does win, I'm thinking decision. I don't know how well it will score. Tyson Nam has been knocked out 3 times. Tyson Nam's never been taken down in the UFC, which is something to note. And Tyson Nam has never been submitted, which is something to note as well. So I think path to victory here for Schnell is just out-voluming Nam, which is not hard to do, and not getting knocked out, which for Schnell, easier said than done because he has been knocked out quite a bit. But yeah, I think Schnell's very live here to win. It's just if he wins, I don't know how well he's going to score. Amari Akhmedov, 7,500. So this price is really intriguing. I do think he'll have a lot of great moments in this fight. I do think that he'll be able to get Breeze down early. His wrestling's very good. We have seen Breeze taken down in control before. And I can kind of see that here, 7,500. I don't know if he'll get a finish, but a lot of Breeze's fights have been finishing lately, whether he's winning those fights or losing those fights. Breeze has been, a lot of his fights have been ending inside the distance. So something to think about there, and he's just so cheap. 7,500 for what I believe is a really close fight. I slightly edge Breeze, but I think Akhmedov at 7,500 for the takedown upside, for the control upside, maybe even finish upside. I think 7,500 is a pretty good look for Akhmedov there. Mason Jones, 7,400. This is my pick for fight of the night. Both guys have no problem standing in the middle and banging until one man falls. This is going to be an absolute war, and for that reason, 7,400. I think he's definitely live here. I do slightly lean with Mike Davis, but would not be shocked whatsoever if Mason Jones won here. Mason Jones undefeated. I like him. I think he's an absolute beast. But going to Mike Davis here, somebody who's really impressive. I don't know. It's a really close fight. So for that reason, 7,400 is definitely a decent look there, and what I think is going to be a close fight. And I would not be shocked if there was a knockout on either side here. Mike Davis has never been knocked out. He has been submitted. I did see him get dropped like 3 times in the Contender Series against Sadiq Yusuf. I have seen Mason Jones hurt before as well. I would not be shocked if this fight finished. Mike Davis, 100% finish rate, which is interesting there. Mason Jones, 70% finish rate. Mason Jones also a black belt in BJJ. So yeah, this kid's he's legit. He's somebody to look out for. Very close matchup. My pick for fight of the night, and I want exposure to both sides here. But the 7,400 is very, very intriguing for Mason Jones. Pump plays here, definitely have to talk about him. Warley Alves, if he wins, it's going to be early. It's going to be in the first couple minutes. That's something we want to target on Draftkings here on FanDuel. Don't mind Warley Alves at 7,200. I have seen Lazez taken down. I've seen him put in a lot of bad spots. Even Alassane got him in some bad spots, but he was able to fight out of it. Will he be able to fight out of these bad positions against Warley Alves? I'm not so sure he can. But like I said, there's like a window between 1 to 3-4 minutes of Warley Alves to get a finish. If not, he probably loses, but that's what we're looking for in a pump play. Somebody that's going to go out there and get an early finish. So Warley Alves, don't hate it. Fades Vivian Arujo, 9,100. Going against Roxanne Modafferi. Modafferi is very tough. She's only been knocked out once in 42 fights. That one time being a slam knockout. So kind of a fluke there. And yeah, I don't think she's going to finish Roxanne here. I do think she's going to win, though, pretty comfortably, being the better striker. She is a black belt in BJJ. If Roxanne does take her down, which I don't think she will, I think she'll be fine off her back, probably get a sweeper reversal. She does have a really good takedown defense. I think she's been taken down once. I think her takedown defense is 92%, so very good takedown defense. And Roxanne's takedown accuracy is like 25%. I really do think Arujo wins. I just don't think she scores all that high, especially with the new scoring system of 0.4 for significant strikes. She's probably not going to go for takedowns, at least you wouldn't think. Maybe she does. She could if she wants to. But I think she's just going to outpoint Modafferi for 15 minutes. I don't know how well it's going to score, especially at 9,100 when you have guys like Ricky Simone around you, when you have guys like Sumadarji around you. When you're Lazez, I'd rather target those a little bit more. But yeah, I think she wins. If you're looking for a safe play, I think she wins. All right, guys, that's about it. Always want to remind you that it's always a great time to become a member of the Patreon and receive full access to my model. You get all the stats. My premium projections are on there, GPP lineup percentages, my Draftkings article, my Patreon-only Fight Day live stream, which is going to be Tuesday night. Don't want to get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, so it's going to be Tuesday night, the night before the fights. Also access to Discord, all that great stuff, very affordable options. You got the $5 option or the $10 option. You got the $20 betting and DFS option, which is very popular there. So sign up. We're at 298 members as time of recording. I really hope to get that 300 mark. Come to join the community, and let's keep winning some money. So really good week to start off 2021. Max Holloway got it done, 209 DraftKings points, and hopefully continuing the success this week for Magny Chiesa on Fight Island 8. Make sure you guys tune into the content coming out for UFC. The Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier card, which is going to be insane this Saturday. So look out for content for that. And that's about it, guys. And good luck on Wednesday morning early.